Five Nights at Freddy's, famous video game franchise, has more books than games. Most of them not very good, but there was one that stood out amongst the rest. The week before, it was the first, Ignore VIP, the first interactive novel, and it was quite good. It told us the story of Ralph, who we've known since 2014 as the phone guy. It really gave us more insight into his character, and was actually kind of important. But, you didn't have to read it to understand the story of the games, but it did, clear things up, flesh out characters. Very good book. So naturally, people assume that the next two interactive novels, which were both focused on pretty game-heavy stuff, would, also do this, be well-written, and, clear things up, and be, important. And then the next two books are complete disasters. I'm not really sure what happened. So yeah, this video is this is not scripted. This is more of a rant type of video. So sorry about that, because my thoughts probably can be all over the place. But let's get into this rant. So like I said, the week before, the first interactive novel was actually pretty good. Definitely, it made Ralph have more of a character. I mean, he already had character, but gave him, flesh him out, showed us, his family life. It was actually interesting. And it did clear up some stuff with the lore, too, gave us some questions to ponder on. But at the end of the day, it was actually, a good book, And it was also an interactive novel that's important for later. And then, Return to the Pit came out, and that book, it was interesting, Adaptation, retelling of Into the Pit, we don't really know what it's supposed to be. We do know that Return to the Pit is probably canon, because, well, the other two are. I don't know why this one would not be. So yeah, why Scott chose to retell Into the Pit again after, well, okay, it's actually probably obvious why, there's a game coming out. So I guess it doesn't make sense why he would write this book, but this book, it has some really weird lore implications. It implies that the ball pit is basically time travel. I mean, technically, I know it's not literally time travel, but it's basically time travel, and you can't cope and say oh, but it could be a loop into the pit and loop, because nothing implies that really. You think if it was, there would be an ending. He realizes it's a loop. I don't know. The ending's just really weird. He gets ran over. Oswald gets ran over by a car 3 times, and then there's this weird path where Chip, this kid from the past, Chip, he is an adult now, and he fucking picks up Oswald on the side of the road. It's come on, join me. I don't know, I haven't read it in a while. I was let's go to my hideout, because I'm gonna fight the Yellow Rabbit, and these are all my friends. And then we find out that Gabriella, who is an important character in the original story, well, not really that, kind of important, she did inspire Oswald to go fight the rabbit or whatever, save his dad. I guess it's been a while since I've read these stories. It turns out that she's Chip's daughter, which is surprising. And not only that, but this team, okay, that's the other thing. First of all, that there's a team going to take down the Yellow Rabbit. Read the original story or play the game with that in mind, and it's so fucking funny, because no one does anything. But it's not only that, but this team is actually led by the Yellow Rabbit, which is very interesting. And yeah, but that's not even the craziest part. There's the alternate ending where Oswald, he can go back into 1985. There's this arcade game. He inputs a separate special coin that you have to unlock through the book, and he fucking plays Happiest Day from FNaF 3, but it's all different and shit, but it's obviously Happiest Day. He comes back to the real world after all the kids eat the cake or whatever, then the fucking rabbit explodes. He goes back in the real world, he reads a newspaper. It's man arrested, 5 children found safe or whatever. Fucking William Afton is arrested in the fucking Spring Bonnie suit, and the kids are just standing outside at the police car. I don't think that's how that would happen in real life, and so that obviously implies that fucking somehow Oswald managed to undo the MCI, and this just makes everyone else look like an idiot. Why didn't Henry or Michael or Charlie just go back in time and undo the MCI, or undo the Bite of 83, or undo Charlie's death? What the fuck? And what's even funnier is that he managed to undo that, but there's still 3 dead kids before this. It's really fucking funny, and we don't know what happens to them. It's really funny. I'll give it that. At least this book is an interactive novel. That's important for later. It does have branching plot lines and stuff, but yeah, so that book really fucking surprised the community. There were people that fucking coped for days. I saw people say we shouldn't fucking take the book as important. I don't know why. I would love to know more about the development of this book, because it's so weird. Return to the Pit, probably the best book ever written, really. It has nothing on this next book though. Escape the Pizzaplex. This book, wow, it's boring, to be honest. I'm actually trying to remember what happens in this book. I forget. All I remember is Gregory. He's a fucking psychopath. Cassie just kind of goes along with it, and then there's fucking, what's his name, Reagent or something. This book really pissed me off, because, okay, this book, it focuses on 2 of the most important characters in these new games, right? Gregory and Cassie, and we learn basically nothing about them. I mean, we learn a little bit more about their relationship, and, now it's very toxic relationship, so not a lot of people liked that change. I think what people were more so mad about with this book, though, is that it's just not important. There's no lore to be taken from this, which is so weird, because the week before gave us not the most important lore, but it gave us some stuff, cleared some things up, fleshed out the characters, right? This book focuses on 2 of the main characters of the new storyline, and we learned basically nothing new. I mean, there's this one weird part with like a FNaF 3 bobblehead, and it's like, wow, this looks really old. I've never seen it before, which implies it's like the same one, but someone reused it as a keychain, which is weird, and we don't know what is up with that. It's really weird. What's even weirder is that Gregory in this book, right, he's like a villain, right? It's like heavily speculated that Gregory was like mind controlled by the glitch trap virus, right? But if that's true, and that he would probably be mind controlled in this book, if that's true. That's just like never shown in the book, so the book just makes it seem like Gregory's just a fucking terrible friend, and fucking Cassie's just there. I don't really know. Oh, and it makes Cassie's dad look like the most incompetent father ever, because his daughter goes missing for like a day, does not report it at all. I mean, also, yeah, that's another thing. We didn't learn anything about Cassie's father, who's also an important character in this new arc, and you'd think that would be like the one thing we learn about, because you'd like talk about her dad and like her internal, you know, dialogue, but no, it's fucking nothing. Just one line about him. It's really fucking weird. But I think the biggest sin of this book is that it's just boring. It's like not even really a story. Like the same thing happens night after night, and then fucking Chica is not in the book for some reason. And what's even worse is that it's an interactive novel, right? But like it's a linear story. Like there's no like really different branching points. Like think about like Return to the Pit, right? That book probably has like worse writing, but at least like, you know, there's branching paths. Like there's this, like the Pit, the Avengers, that one was a branching path, like a different storyline. Always ends in Oswald dying, but still. So like I'm just trying to figure out like how did this happen? Like this is my theory. So I think the week before was written, and I think it gave us all this lore on purpose to try and like lure people in, right? Like thinking like, oh, these books are actually going to clear stuff up. They're actually going to be important, so let's read these. And then, you know, he released The Return to the Pit, which, weird book, really weird. But it still had some lore. Like, you know, it implies that, like, The Happiest Day is a real arcade game that someone has to play in universe. Implies that the Pit, you know, is real time travel. Okay, and then the next book, Escape at Pizzaplex, it's an entirely new story focusing on two characters from the games that people want to learn more about. Just fucking nothing happens there. And I think this was intentional. Scott Cawthon's kind of like, he's edging us for lore. It's a little weird. But yeah, that's just my little conspiracy theory about what the fuck is going on with these books. And I don't think we're ever going to get another one. And honestly, I don't want another one anymore. When these books were first coming out, I really wanted like one like in between Sister Location and FNaF 6, you know, with Mike and like all of the Hurricane cryptics and whatever. I don't know. And it just feels like Escape the Pizzaplex is such like a useless book. Like there's so many other stories you could have written, which I fucking ranted about before. I'll put it up on screen. Better than fucking this. Better than fucking Reagent. And what the fuck is Reagent? Why does he exist? It's such a weird book. Also, we learned from the DJ Sturf that they're like, he requested like what, like 5 different endings, so they just took none of them. Just did like the most boring shit possible. I don't know why. Maybe it's because like Scouts like saw all those people complain about like how, oh, the books have so much lore, but also saw people complain about how like they don't focus on game characters. So he tried to have it like be both, like it focuses on game characters, but there's no like lore. But like you can't do that. Like people were complaining because the books like were not obviously canon. That's what people were mostly complaining about. And like sure, I don't think you should have to read the books to understand the games, but like The Week Before is a good example. That book focuses on a game character and has important lore, but you don't have to read it to understand the story of the games. You know, it's a side thing. That's what these books should be, not Escape the Pizzaplex, which just has nothing of value. But yeah, that's my rant of this. You know, I just thought I had to get this out because it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. Sorry about that. You know, I just had not been really motivated to make anything. Don't really know why. So I thought, you know, this would be a little easy video. Probably will get done in like an hour. So yeah, if you liked the Escape the Pizzaplex, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell. And last thing I want to say is, you know, just watch the UTV series. Really good show.
Doesn't take brains to be a criminal.
Just balls.
If Opie's gonna bone me, I wish he'd lube up and get on with it.
And I'll see you guys next time.